do believe that this issue of sustainability, I'm broadening beyond just climate change, but sustainability, which would capture thinking about employment practices as well as just the sort of climatic effects of man's activity, is going to be an absolutely central issue for the way in which emerging markets emerge.
China, a lot of open waterways. If you're standing next to them, your eyes are tearing from the smell of chemicals. If you're in China traveling for several weeks, oftentimes you'll develop a cough because of the higher levels of particulates in the air. In general, pollution is a very big problem in most of these developing countries. It's a problem in China, throughout the eastern area. It's an increasing problem in Vietnam. It will be a bigger and bigger problem.
China, generally in its political and economic role in the world, it is more and more becoming a global player. It is because of that, WTO was one of the first steps, or many steps they took in that direction. They have to become a responsible global player. That's going to mean for them to address things like the environment. In turn, that means, for example, a lot of potential for companies dealing with environmental technologies, environmentally friendly systems, for example. It means that they have to open up their financial markets, amongst other things. This is one of the few things that is still very, very tightly controlled. That means, of course, an enormous amount of potential for financial firms and all the advisory professional services that go with that.
I think it would be wrong to characterise emerging markets as a whole as being unconcerned about the environmental effects of their economic activity. I just don't believe that to be true. There is a lot of evidence that they are hugely concerned. What we do need, however, to understand are the conflicting prioritisations that they have to address domestically. We need to turn the spotlight on our own practices as well, and I do think that this whole sustainability agenda is one where leading by example will be, in the long run, a great strategy for developed market participants.
Very good examples in UK-China cooperation. One was recently signed, in fact, when the British Prime Minister was in Beijing, and that is cooperation between the UK and a city called Wuhan in central China around sustainable cities. So how do you clear up the air? How do you do wastewater treatment? How do you keep water clean? That type of issue. And that's really bringing together the best of UK technology to match the needs of China in terms of helping clean up the environment. There's also some very exciting projects going on led by British companies. A good example of that is Arup, who's working on an eco-city just outside Shanghai, in a development called Dongtan on an island called Chongming. And that is leading the way in terms of developing a large urban centre for the population that tends to be migrating into urban areas, but doing it in a way in which the impact on the environment is mitigated as much as possible.